you're even a pyrotechnic guy, aren't you?
I realized very early it was very expensive to rent a company to do it. So I learned myself. I got the license and then I built the bombs myself. And then I shoot the bombs myself while playing on the stage. And it was a lot cheaper, a lot more dangerous. It's super stressful to sit there before the show and still being stressed about playing. And then I'm there packing this, gunpowder into these things. And
Rock, metal, prog, and everything in between. Welcome to this episode of Talkin' Rock with Meltdown. Don't forget to follow the audio-only Talkin' Rock podcast on all podcast platforms. And now, it's time for today's conversation. Here's Meltdown.
Hey, Pär, good to make your acquaintance. How's things with you?
it's very good with me. Exciting times. We're closing in on the release of our new album. So that's always a fantastic time when you're in a band.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's like I was going to say the Sabaton machine is about to crank up again, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it all goes in cycles, and we're just about to restart the cycle, so to say, with a lot of tours, new album, and all the other stuff that is going to happen.
What is all the other stuff?
So always when Sabaton releases an album, there's always a lot of exciting things around it. When we did the Great War, we launched the Sabaton History channel. When we did the War to End All Wars, we also had the animated movie, and we did also the big museum project where we donated this animated movie to museums and did this huge event together with them. And then we did a cinema experience later in the thing there. And for the upcoming album, for the Legends, one of the coolest things is what we are working with the Legendary Orchestra. I would say that's a little bit new thing where we are basically creating a new artist that is going to be a Sabaton tribute band touring, playing Sabaton songs in a very epic way.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it's awesome. So you're bringing that tour through here through Detroit on March 8th with Michigan's own Pop Evil. That's going to be cool. And like you said, the Legends album drops on October 17th. You just mentioned the word epic. When you're writing songs, is there ever a time where you guys look at each other and say, no, this song is not epic enough?
No, but there was a time when we were working on this album, and the first song basically that got together, which is the Templar song, when we said this is too epic for making another album about First World War. So we need to look at some more epic topic if you're talking about epicness in this. So that's sort of where it all started. And then we're like, okay, so we now have this song. It obviously doesn't sound like First World War or Second World War, so let's find something else. And we had this idea about doing Legends in the back of our head. And when we, let's say, get into that track, it was a great thing for us because suddenly there were no limits, no boundaries, no borders for us where we're gonna be in our lyric writing. So suddenly we had all the history and all of the world to go into. When we were concentrating the last two albums on the First World War, we're sort of stuck within the 4 years and mostly the European scene. So this was a little bit of a blessing for us because suddenly we were free and the vocabulary got extended, and there's a lot of things happening that made the thing writing this album more exciting.
Now, you and I both have a mutual friend, our friend Scott from the Military Museum here in Jackson, Michigan, and you're talking about World War I and World War II and whatnot, and I guess if I'm not mistaken, a World War II veteran just passed away who you knew. Is that right?
Yes, that's true, Leonard. We met him at the Heritage Museum in Michigan. So we met him there and the talk with him, and yeah, of course, always something extra when you are doing what we do and sing about this. It's always something extra to meet the people that actually was there and hear what they also think of our music, if they sort of give it approval stamp or not. And they so far we haven't met a single one from that time who didn't appreciate what we were doing.
Yeah, because I think you appreciate them so much. What was sometimes I ask bands like what their gateway was to music and stuff. What was your gateway to being such a history buff?
So I would say it was the band itself. When we started, and we didn't have a lyrical topic for the first songs that we wrote, but in 2004 we were working on a couple of songs, and we got the idea of doing military history about them or sing about this. And I mean, obviously we were inspired by other bands who've been doing it before us, like Iron Maiden, for example, have done it really good over the years. And we thought, okay, it fits us. And actually, it was an interest we had. I wouldn't say we were history nerds or buffs or anything like that when we started. We just thought, well, it's way more interesting than anything else we can come up with at the moment. And as we went along with it, and as we've been doing this for now more than 2 decades, the interest for it, as well as our understanding of it, has grown. And we've also gone from, let's say, well, it's something interesting to also see what kind of impact it has on the world that we live in today. So yeah, it gives us a slightly different view on the world, and I'm thankful for it. And I think it's been a little bit of an eye opener the last 2 decades.
Yeah. You just go ahead. I'm sorry.
Maybe the music that we do and the lyrics that we do will inspire some other people to have similar experiences.
Yeah. You just talked about the, writing this new record and whatnot, and the world wars and what have you. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was this record written before you had a new record label? And is the new record label really going to give you guys a big push here in the States?
So it's true. I mean, when we were working on this album and until it was finished, we still had no record label. So we knew we had some times to catch, but we didn't have a proper release date. We just had something in mind. And we were negotiating with a lot of record labels. So for the last 1.5 years, I've been in talks with over 20 record labels in all over the world. And it was essential to find somebody who had a global vision for the band, and somebody who, and thanks to that, I had a lot of late nights and early mornings calling to the various offices of each of these labels all around the world. So the last 1.5 years has been very exciting, but it wasn't the likely choice to change a record label after being together with Nuclear Blast since 2009. So we felt that it was a time for Sabaton to see what else is out there, and what happens if Sabaton changes a record label. What new networks do we get? What new people do we meet? What new opportunities arise, and what new thoughts comes into to the table? So after this 1.5 years, we decided, let's go hand in hand with Better Noise Music and see where this road leads us.
And when you're writing a record without a record label, is there like less stress? Is there more stress? Are you trying to write something that you think a label would like, or what kind of mindset are you in?
No, we never were influenced by anybody else than what we decided by ourselves. So it was, and here was no difference, and it wasn't ever a difference before. So in our 26 years career or something, we rarely had any kind of input from a label how we can and cannot do. And we have been having a strong sense of what we want to do ourselves. We are a do-it-yourself band, managed by ourselves. We control a lot of stuff in-house. We have our own teams, and we do from the management, the publishing, the mail orders, we produce a lot of stuff, and we do a lot of our shows and these kind of things, and we've been doing that since the beginning. And so we still decide a lot. But going to Better Noise Music, it would be stupid of us not to take any ideas and any suggestions that they have, and get something new into us, so to say.
Yeah. So you just mentioned how you guys do a lot of this stuff yourself. I mean, you're even a pyrotechnic guy, aren't you?
Well, I'm no longer, because my license expired, and I haven't been doing it for a long time. But yes, I started because I realized very early it was very expensive to rent a company to do it. So I learned myself. I got the license, and I built all the stuff myself, and then I built the bombs myself, and then I shoot the bombs myself while playing on the stage. And yeah, it was a lot cheaper, a lot more dangerous. And very stressful, and I have to say that it's super stressful to sit there before the show and still being stressed about playing, so shaking a little bit just because nervous before playing, and then I'm there packing this gunpowder into these things and shaking a little bit and yeah.
Well, I still see you have all your fingers, so that's a good sign.
Yeah, I still have everything, so I didn't lose anything, but at some points it was really because you always tend to go crazier and crazier. And it was at a time when we meet this like leading pyrotechnical company in Sweden who were there with a different artist, and they're like, "What the hell are you doing?" And I'm like, "Well, you're too expensive. We're just doing it ourselves." And they're like, "But it doesn't look really like safe what you're doing." And I'm like, "Yeah, but it's a lot cheaper, and we can't afford you guys." And when we were shooting, they came afterwards and they said, "You guys, you know that." Sort of your stuff, it's not valid. I mean, they don't have the right. You can't shoot them. They are simply dangerous, and nobody has approved them. They are not CE certified and these kind of things. And I'm like, yeah, they're not. It's true. And they said, yeah, and you're shooting way cooler stuff than we can ever do. So it's kind of unfair competition between the two of us. So we ask of you kindly to stop and start working with us. And it was at some point when it was like, okay, I get your point. It looks way cooler when we are shooting because we shoot much louder and bigger bombs than anybody else, but at the same time I think it's time to do that, and it was in a good time when we actually could afford to make the transition to pay for the proper people to do it.
That's hysterical. So I was going to ask you before you got into the bomb tirade. If you're talking to other bands, especially bands that maybe are just starting out or, starting to get, I mean, what are the pros and cons of what you do as far as, really, taking the reins of this horse you call Sabaton?
So I'm quite aware that a lot of people look to Sabaton, and especially Sweden, for example, where everybody knows where we come from and how we built it and how we have created our own legacy there. And a lot of bands, they look to us there. And a lot of bands, they ask us for advice, and I'm very often open to speak with them and do clinics with them and help them around and these kind of things. And as long as there is a little time, I do that without never ask of anybody to pay me for that. I think it's great to help the young bands to have a better chance. I mean, as a heavy metal community, we need to stick together, and at some point Sabaton already got so far that it sort of should be in our interest to make heavy metal continue and new generations to go on. So a part of what we are doing needs to be to regain growth in the younger things. But yeah, I do tell them quite a lot the pros and cons about what we are doing, and I can't say that doing the way we do is not for everybody. I mean, I find it exciting and I do not regret anything, and I think that every part of my life is pretty much funny. But I do sit at the computer working, calling, and whatever, making decisions and talking to people, giving instructions, and all of that as a part of running a band's management. I do that from when I go up until I go to bed, pretty much for the last 20 years. And yes, it is a big sacrifice of other things, but I do not regret because it fitted me. Mm-hmm. And also I kind of had the what you need. I mean, you need to have a certain type. You need to be a certain type. Some people are made for other things, but I'm made for this. So it fits me to be handling a band's management. And it's quite quickly you can see in a band if there are entrepreneurs or if they are simply just pure enthusiastic musicians. If they are pure enthusiastic musicians, they should leave the business and the development of the band maybe to somebody who would take that more serious. Yeah. So but yeah, some of them they really have, and then I'm more of a helpful person, I would say.
But in your band, I mean, like every band, you have a vision and you want to see that vision come to life. So who better to create that vision and bring it to life than you?
That is true. I mean, it's true for most of the bands. Most of the artists would have the vision themselves. I mean, that's what we are as artists. We are creative, and most of them, I would say, have the vision coming from them. Then it's different. You have the vision. Can you actually make the vision happen? And that's where artists sometimes cannot do it and need external help. But in Sabaton case, we actually have been able to do that internally since day one.
Yeah. Now we were just talking a little while ago about a Kraken here in America. Being a band from Sweden, how important was it to you to make an impact here in America? And was there ever a point like in the beginning where that seemed so far away?
Yeah, there was a point where it seemed impossible because everybody told us, guys, you play European power metal. Good luck in America. It's never happened before that a band ever became any popular in this. And we had to be strong in believing in ourselves. And we had to go and we were doing a lot of support tours. And we said, we know that this is the way we're going to build it. That's how we built it in Europe. And that's how we're going to make it. We know that our biggest strength is the guys in the band and our music, and what we do on stage is what matters most. And we won't be anything unless we are there playing. So once we sort of had a base to stand on in Europe, we turned our heads and really like, okay, now it's time for America, and we won't stop. We won't let everybody who told us that it's not going to work. We won't let them speak to us in that way. They said the same about the UK. We went to UK and made 100 shows, and then we sold out the Wembley, and that. It was just hard work, push, and I think we have probably done 100 shows in the US now, and but things are improving, and they are really doing well, and we are so excited to continue, and still believe in what we do.
And you've done some big tours here in the States, correct?
Yeah. We did, and the last year we added 2 tours where we joined Judas Priest. Right. They were not really supposed to happen, but thanks to that, our old guitar player Tobbe came back. We wanted to kind of get back into the game with him before we went in and finished a new album. We wanted to get to play together a little bit. So in order for that, I went to see if there were any tours that we could jump onto, and Judas Priest were one of those. So we jumped onto Judas Priest, and they were great tours. And between them and during there, we could finish the new album and also be really tight with our new old guitar player Tobbe, who were on an 8-year holiday.
That's funny. Yeah. So wrapping things up here as far as the new record is concerned, it's called Legends, drops on October 17th. What do you think is going to stand out to the Sabaton fans on this record? What do you think stands out for you?
I think I'm pretty confident in the new record. We've been doing quite a lot of interviews by now, and we played it to a lot of people as well. And we feel very comfortable that it's a super strong record that hits our fans. A lot of them, they say that we get the vibe of a classic Sabaton album with some new things that are sticking out as we usually have. So it sounds and becoming very Sabaton-ish. And for some people, that is like, oh, Sabaton sounds like Sabaton always did. But that's not always a bad thing. And in our case, not at all. When we started our band or when we made Prima Victoria in 2005, we didn't look to anyone else. Like we had no vision how anybody else sounds. That's how we want to sound. Look at them, we want to sound like them. We created the Sabaton sound, and that was just what happened when we went to a studio and made our songs and played them, and we came out with the Sabaton sound. Since then, we had the Sabaton sound. We just perfected it by every record, and it sounds better than ever. And I think we have a super amount of strong songs, which also pointed out to how diverse everybody's suggestion was. Like, I think this song is best. I think this song is best. And the more journalists we talk to, the more, schizophrenic the album gets, and the more input we get. And like, no, this song is really the best one. This one is really the best. And once we signed with Better Noise Music, there was a big okay, wake up call. These are really singles that could go public and become very popular. And we're like, oh wow, that's not how we thought it's going to be. So, but let's see and test your skills and knowledge and in this as well. And So if you ask me, I still think that we have some of the absolutely best songs that have not been out yet, that we are still holding on to. And that's going to be very exciting when fans get their hands on the record and see, because we have a lot of cool stuff that hasn't come out yet.
All right, that's awesome. That's October 17th. The rest of the record drops, like I said, March 8th here in Detroit. Speaking of Detroit, since we are in Detroit Rock City, I don't know if you know this or not, but the other thing they like to call Detroit is Hockey Town. Are you familiar with that?
Yes, and yeah, I am.
And one of my friends, perhaps, is one of the greatest Swedish hockey players to ever play. You know who I'm talking about?
Forsberg.
No,
Nope.
not Forsberg. He's good though. I'll tell you, he's good. I'm talking about Nick Lindstrom.
Ah, okay, yes, and oh wow, okay, so and if I'm not mistaken, he is not from a place not far away from us in Sweden either.
Yeah,
So
he told me one time which part of Sweden he was from. Then Thomas Holmstrom is from a different part of Sweden because he speaks like what they call a Swedish or whatever. Like it's really up English. And then we got of course there's been a lot of Swedes here that have played hockey in Detroit for all these years.
yeah, and
Are you a
okay,
hockey fan?
yeah. I am little bit hockey fan. I mean, we have our own local team, which is near to us, which I sometimes go watch their games. We performed there a couple of times. We did their intro song. We like supported their like younger teams and stuff like that. So we sponsored younger the kids teams.
Yeah, that's cool. And a final thing here for you. I know that you're a history guy and stuff. Now, you've never been to the Henry Ford, correct? You guys went to the Greenfield Village last time you were here, which is the outdoor part, right?
Yes, and we have been 2 times, but I've never been to the Henry Ford inside.
Okay. So we can make that happen on March 8th, which is 2 days away from my birthday, right? We can make that happen.
That sounds so interesting, absolutely, and I think I will be up for that. I mean, the village has been interesting, and I'm lucky to be in there 2 times and seen it because it's big, and we don't have so much time when we are on tour to check it out. So it needed 2 times, but yeah, I haven't seen anything of what's in the inside museum.
Yeah, so the Henry Ford is pretty much like it's like a history of America inside. So the chair that Lincoln was killed in is there. The car that Kennedy was shot in is there. Stuff like that.
Oh wow! Okay, yeah. Well, I know some of it because obviously we had the option. Like, do you want to go inside or outside? And yeah, it's a nice day. Let's walk around outside. Right. So, but we didn't have the time to do both.
I got you. Well, I'll tell you what, like I said, March 8th at the Filmore, Sabaton, the new record drops on October 17th. Pär, have a great tour, have a great safe travels, holidays, and all that stuff, and we'll see you here in 2026 in Detroit. And I'm gonna get the record. I may not be a journalist per se, but I'm gonna check it out myself.
All right, cool. Yeah, good talking to you, and see you when we come around.